Everyone knows major haram things should be avoided. Like every sheikh and people of knowledge, they all talk about it, right? We should avoid things like zina, gambling, and all of these major sins. But a lot of times, shaitan ends up tempting us with things that aren't necessarily sins, and they end up actually hurting us more than these major sins. So this is something that literally everybody faces. Like I guarantee you, you understand this problem, and you probably are struggling with this, especially if you're a teenager or a young adult Muslim. I'm talking about internet addiction, or just in general, spending too much time on the internet. Now, of course, you probably already realize, like, especially if you have this problem, that you should get off the internet, but it's especially dangerous for Muslims, and a lot of people don't actually realize why. Now, I'm gonna assume, like, who you are. If you're anything like me, at least, you probably spent way too much time on YouTube, way too much time playing video games, and to be honest, if you spent that time doing anything else, like imagine how much better your life would be. I can speak for myself, right? When I look back at it, it's kind of embarrassing because, dude, if I spent that time that I just wasted on the internet doing anything, like building a business, for example, like I would be a millionaire by now. Like that's crazy to think about. So here's where it's dangerous for Muslims specifically. If we're Muslim, right, we know haram things are haram. We're going to stay away from them because we have, like, disgust towards them, right? They're haram. But when it comes to these things that are permissible, right? Because like video games and scrolling on YouTube is not necessarily haram. Like you could make it haram, but it's by itself, it's not haram, right? So we get kind of tempted into doing these things because, well, they're not haram, so it's okay to do them. But these things could actually have an even worse effect than haram things because of the amount of time wasting that these things, specifically like internet addiction, can cause you, because they can make you lose so many opportunities in your life. And here's an interesting thing that you might not know. Committing sins is not the only thing that's going to lower your iman. In fact, doing permissible things, especially like overdoing them, can also lower your iman, and they will lower your iman. That's why after binging on YouTube or playing a ton of video games, you feel kind of weak in your iman, right? I'm sure you experience this, like I've experienced it too. You feel like your religion is not as strong. So if this is a problem for you, and it's definitely a problem for me, right? I'm going to be honest. Then you need to understand you need to at least lower it. Now, the problem is, this is really difficult to do. I'm going to admit this, right? Because again, I'm not perfect and I still struggle with this, but there's a lot of things that you can actually do to help you. So how do you actually spend less time going on YouTube, doing these random things that are wasting your life? Basically, what you have to do is by spending your time, instead of, doing these things that are not beneficial to you and waste your time, do things that are meaningful to you. Like do work that is going to accomplish the goals that you've set for yourself. The reason why you binge on YouTube or you watch a bunch of TikTok or you play video games, for example, is because you have nothing better to do, right? Like how many times have you heard that phrase? Well, I have nothing better to do, so I might as well just do it. So if you have nothing better to do, of course, you're going to fall into that trap. So that's why you have to set yourself up with actual important tasks that are meaningful to you and that are better to do than just, watch YouTube. So this is my best advice for, any internet addiction, YouTube or video games. It's to replace that addiction of internet with things that's actually important to you. So you need to have a mission, you need to have a purpose, and you need to have goals. And instead of, wasting your life away doing these things that are not beneficial to you, focus on, achieving your goals. Of course, this takes a lot of discipline, right? It's hard to do, I'm not going to lie. So I would recommend you start off slow. Don't go in like from 4 hours a day binging on YouTube into complete military level schedule. What I would recommend is start off with small, easy habits, right? Maybe spend 5 or 10 minutes doing a habit or a work task that's beneficial to your goal, that works towards that. And then, build it up over time. And over time, inshallah, you'll see yourself using YouTube and video gaming and all of this useless stuff, doing that stuff less and less, and actually becoming more successful and confident about yourself. And all of that happens while at the same time you're strengthening your iman and your religion just because of how this stuff works. So anyways, I hope you took something away from that. Assalamu alaikum.